Hey guys, welcome back to Confirm It RM YouTube channel. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day getting ourselves back into another couple minute technical video looking at Bitcoin as well as XRP, seeing how everything's going in the market. And unfortunately, we had a premature break from our kind of like ascending fractal here. That's a-okay, but look at that. We broke from it with conviction, and we see exactly where it would fall to. And we even talked about it in the video last time. If we really wanted to see a strategic fall out of Bitcoin, we're going to see around about 66, 65,000. And that's what we got. So now we're, at where we're at, and now we needed to figure out what the hell's going on, right? So what we can do right now is just get rid of these fractals now. We don't need these anymore. So what we're going to do is zoom out, because when in doubt, zoom out, guys. And we can see what we're in. We had our original rise up, we had our back tested at 236, couldn't get through, and then kind of waddling sideways. That's just that. We wound up going into that descending fractal, going downwards and going right back down to that 56, which was, solidifying kind of like a base for ourselves. And you see we fly back up to the 0.5, hold on to 236, and then kind of just still waddling underneath that $70,000, $71,500, and just kind of getting trapped. So what we see had happened, though, in the past, since basically May, so for the past month, we were able to break out right here and get above our kind of our ceiling. So now we're back, and we keep back testing it and back testing it and back testing it. But now we finally got back to that fractal at the 0.5. And the only way for us to really kind of like push further back would have been down here to the 382, but that would have invalidated. And if we wound up pushing down there and really going into that discovery and going sub 63 or sub 65, well, really, we hit like 64 or something, but that didn't really matter. We needed conviction to the downside. If we really started to see something like that, we would see ourselves back down here, and then we'd wind up seeing, unfortunately, a longer correction out of Bitcoin. But at the moment, we're not seeing anything like that. We're just seeing a back test of the channel that it was in, and like even us talking about this, this is our upper fractal. We came back down and touched it. We just missed it on the 11th, and now we have kind of perfectly back tested it just over the weekend here on Friday. So we need to kind of think what's going on, but we can see ourselves here, even in the RSI, we're pushing ourselves upwards. We're in good positive momentum at the moment. We're seeing ourselves at a 45 on the 4-hour, so we're getting out of it. We kind of hit the max pain. I was talking about that last video when we were there on June 11th. It's about like a week and a half ago. Me talking about how we got down there, and realistically, that is when we've seen our most amount of pain, and we kind of got there. I mean, if you zoom out, the worst that we had was back there in August of last year, but we've met every single one of these dips since there. Had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 that were that magnitude, and we see that. So the inference from this, at least from me, would be showing that we at least have exhausted it. We hit our 0.5 on our Fibonacci error overall, and this would be our make or break point. Obviously here on our short term, you're holding that 66, or trying to at least, or at 66.4. So what we can do, even maybe actually what I would like to see happen, is to zoom in a little bit, give ourselves some sort of sideways channel here. You could do on the bottom side here, but I would like to do something more short term, or like this, because you have multiple bottoms here. You got a couple solidifying here and right there. We could do this if you really wanted to. Go through the tops of these ones, bottoms of those, if you really wanted to. If you zoom out a little bit, maybe it has something validated over here. Not really, but I think that's what I'm going to go with, is using the bottoms of these and those, kind of getting ourselves kind of like an idea of how we're going to wind up moving over the next couple of weeks. Looks like we still have that ceiling here around this 71.5, just about. If you were to kind of cut it across, you can see that multiple times have came and slapped it. I would give ourselves this line, and I think I would even give ourselves this one. Give ourselves a very steep one, but you see it shows the same time frame, so I don't want to go too crazy. Maybe if you were to kind of do something more from this time frame angle and go across, still the same sort of thing, using the bottoms of these, but there's more validation over here. Kind of just goes from the beginning of August to the end of July. So I don't really see that. So what I would do is something more like this. You kind of have our fractal here, at least on the RSI, showing this positive momentum upwards. We see our waves downwards. We finally got that capitulative drop to the 0.5. We got our retest exactly to where we were on May 17th. Right there, we got it exhausted. So to me, this seems like this would be our kind of play going forward here for Bitcoin. This would be what I'm hedging myself on seeing. Anything can just invalidate for like a day or so, but we have this trend, which I'm gonna kind of hold on to this. This shows the mid-July of Bitcoin possibly having some sort of move that would be from actually where it is right now, and it would kind of yeet itself, as the kids would say, up there to around that 78, 80,000. Well, it looks like 79. But I'm going to go with that at the moment. I think that makes the most amount of sense to me. Obviously, briefly going through here, even on a daily, we were talking about that with XRP, that things can briefly get themselves out of the trend. But if all else fails here and we could wind up going sideways, which we could, I can get rid of this because you see the 100-day moving average is sitting down over there. But actually, I'm really surprised here on the daily to see that bounce right there, that region we were talking to, the 41. We've always been kind of going off these two red regions of just that bouncing back and forth. But yeah, it looks like we could wick down if we wind up having a crappy time right now on Monday. And even in this week, if we aren't able to break through and really just full send ourselves back upwards, that 100,000, that 100-day moving average is sitting right there at that 64. It would just wind up becoming another back test. But if we're able to hang out up here for a little while longer, this is going to curtail upwards, and it's going to wind up being on top of this trend anyway. It's going to come back down to that 0.5, and you're going to see it just back test and come back up. So that's nothing too concerning at the moment. But I mean, I don't really see anything too crazy. Even if I were to kind of go sideways here, I mean, that would really make it go a lot longer if I were to do something like that. But even if I were to use the dailies and go like this and follow this trajectory of these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days and connect it to this one, I mean, it's still showing that same time frame of end of July. It shows that you could go a little bit further if you use that wick. It could come back down to the 65.5, 65 on the dot. But you can see there that it's going to wind up kind of giving itself that same sort of waddling back and forth up and down there. But, nothing screaming on the RSI, big bad, runaway, things are terrible. Even TradingView is like everything seems neutral. Because you don't have a screaming signal saying, "Hey, this is terrible. You guys got to run." The volume seems okay right now. Nothing's really dwindling. The RSI is sitting pretty, I would say, for the circumstances it's in, it's sitting there at around a 45. It's pretty damn neutral. So just keep your guys' head on a swivel. Keep that $65,100 just about like in your radar. Obviously, that 100-day moving average sitting there around that 64 could possibly wick. It'd be like a flash down, but to that region, at most 63.1. But realistically, we're going to want to hold this in order for a continuation. But if we start losing these sorts of things, you're looking exactly where that support was next was that 63, and then 60 was on the dot like at numerous times that support. But this is what I'm looking at. This is what I'm thinking. This is kind of what my thought process is at the moment. There's just clearly a strong support there at 65, clearly, and it has held up numerous times here, and then lost it. So now it's going to come down here and it's going to have to support it. The last time we hit it right here, we flew back up. The last time we hit it here, we flew back up. Last time we hit it here, we flew back up. So now we're hitting it again. 4 times the charm. But regardless, guys, that's my thought process. coming over here to XRP, holding on for dear life. To just that same spot. And we were talking about how this was a negative fractal, guys. Remember, we were talking about XRP. We're like, this is out of a downtrend. This is a flag formation. We were expecting that same sort of fall. And, we were talking about, unfortunately, that would be our best case scenario would be seeing that. But, we're going to take that when we had talked about this last. This was about where we were. And you can see that fall is exactly to where we are, around 46 cents. It hit down there and wicked down to 45. But we're about there. But what I would hate to see right now is for XRP to be playing around in this region, doing something sort of like this and condensing, because we're going to wind up forming another flag, which would end up being like this, which hopefully doesn't. But it would be about it'd be about the first or about the 10th of July. We would wind up seeing that play out, and then that would end up being another crash downwards to around that 43 cents, which is that other region. That 48, we got 43, and then you guys know that 37 and 31, those regions. But I don't want to see the sideways waddling BS in XRP, because we see that sideways waddling, and you break down. So we did mention seeing that. We did give ourselves a freaking 70-30, but 70 was that push downward, and then the 30% was pushing upwards. It was just bearish. When you're seeing a downtrend and then into a flag, 9 times out of 10, you're going to be seeing it push bearish. That's just how it be. At that same time, we were seeing ourselves lose momentum and getting pushed back here by the RSI and the daily. Obviously, it's a lagging indicator in some instances, but we were kind of getting that clue here on the 4-hour. If we come over here, we lost it pretty dramatically. So let's go back over here to the daily. But for XRP, we really need to get ourselves back above. We need to see ourselves really back above 52. We need to get ourselves back in the swing, and we can actually get ourselves acclimated for a push to the upside. But at the moment, you kind of can't sound the alarm bells yet, because as you guys know, freaking that wick to the downside is insane every single time with XRP. If we are to make that big and bright as possible right here, you can see numerous time again right here. Actually, I think that would be a pretty damn good instance of what's going on with XRP, which I would want to see happen. You had the same sort of move. When was this? This was in May of 23. You had your push, then you had your side. So you had your push upwards, and then you had your corrective wave down, and then you have this trending sideways. And then, actually, let me zoom in on that, because we can get an idea of what the hell is going on. Let me delete all this bull crap. Let's see. But I couldn't exactly say that's the same, because we didn't have that same kind of trendy sideways bullcrap. Actually, no, I would say maybe similar to here, because you had this little pennant show up here. You had your push upwards, your pennant show up here, your breakdown, then your retrace back up down to your V bottom, and then your fly up. And then, it came back down to retest again, and then wound up just exploding. Maybe we're in that same sort of situation as, we had our push up, which would be here. This is the push up, then our sideways, which is right here. So actually, if I were to compare this literally 1-to-1, apples to apples, let's see, because this is 23. I think that would actually make the most amount of sense in my mind. It's almost a very, very similar formation there. But this is coming out of an uptrend. This is still out of an uptrend as well. Actually, yeah, it's very, very similar. I'll give it that. So you have your push up, then you're trending sideways, your push down, your kind of flag, and then your final descent down the trend. And then over here, we have our same thing of kind of just a push up, sideways, push down into a flag, and then, unfortunately, the push down, as we were saying right here, the same sort of region. So my thought process, we could be right here in the same sort of region. And if you were to grab some sort of bars pattern, which wherever I always lose my bars pattern. Give me 1 second. Found it. So if we were to take that and then do something sort of like this and grab this, you would wind up seeing our kind of fault like this. That's exactly what I'm freaking thinking. That's exactly what my thought process was. So you wind up having this same sort of kind of waddling sideways, getting back up, hitting that 52, come back down to that 48, then you're push up there to that 62 region, that exact 702, hitting that top of that trend line. Actually, that'd be perfect, just like this, and then come back down, kind of waddling above that 52, and then wha-bam, just up there to that dollar region. I mean, that's kind of like my thought process at the moment. Would I like to happen that fast? Would it happen this fast? I don't want to say I think so, but XRP, when it does move, as you guys know, just likes to absolutely just full send itself. So I won't ever put it past it, but I'm not going to say a move like that's imminent, but I think it may be on the table. Honestly, I'll put it like that. I mean, even for Bitcoin to see a move for itself coming, as we were just talking about, it's coming. But all right, guys, I hope you have a good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are. I appreciate every single one of you. Watch out for XRP. See how it's going. Honestly, if it goes lower, people have their opinions of what they'll do. But if it goes up higher, we all know. But Bitcoin doing its thing, trending sideways. We know exactly what to expect for Bitcoin now, and we will go from there. Have a great one, guys. Appreciate you, and have a great week.